Well, good afternoon. My name is Paul Hagan and I'm the course leader for the Mining Research Project.
And I'm Basil Beamish. I'm the course leader for the Mining Research Project at the University of Queensland.
And we're here this afternoon to talk to you about the Mining Research Project. Actually, I say the Mining Research Project, it's actually Research Project 1 and 2. It goes over the 2 semesters in the final year of the course, final year of the program, I should say.
And the way that the courses operate is that it's divided into the 2 so that you can develop your project with the students over a set of tasks in the first semester that helps them organise and manage the project, look at what's needed, resources, and then lead into the final thesis submission and other assessment in the second semester.
The basis for the course is modelled on project management. So the students take on the role of project manager, and as Basil mentioned, in the first semester it's basically the planning phase of the project, coming up to speed with the current state of knowledge and really defining what the tasks in the project will be. Whereas in the second semester it's the doing phase of the project, where they undertake the experimentation, the analysis and so on, and then pull it all together in terms of the outputs for the thesis course.
So to help the students plan in Mining Project 1, we organise a session of library skills for the students so they understand what's available to them through the library in terms of resources. We also run a technical editing exercise that helps them understand the quality of work we expect them to produce in all their written submissions that they hand in as part of the course assessment. And we do the staging through to putting a research proposal together so that they outline what the project's going to be about and scope and objectives. And also then they move on to identifying an annotated bibliography of some key research articles, and that can range across the breadth of journals, conferences, books, websites, company reports, whatever's available that's bringing them up to date on the topic.
As Basil is intimating, essentially it's a scaffolding approach in terms of the assessment. Particularly for first semester, the final output for the course is the project progress report. The project progress report has 3 parts. There's the literature review, there's the project plan, and there's a risk assessment. And all the tasks that Basil talked about is scaffolding in terms of helping them to get to that stage of coming up with a good quality lit review as well as project plan and risk assessment.
After that's been submitted, they get the feedback, which helps them improve on the material they put in as part of the literature review, because it's marked by the supervisor, so they're getting direct feedback from the expert that is helping them give the feedback on their progress. And then in second semester they go ahead and complete the tasks that they've been put together into their research plan to develop the thesis. Prior to thesis submission they will be required to give an oral presentation, and that's done on a seminar basis that's marked by a couple of markers, and following that they get feedback as well from the oral presentation before the thesis submission.
The thesis submission, it's not following the usual method in terms of submitting the thesis, but we ask the students to submit what we call the examiner's copy of the thesis. So this is a spiral bound, not a draft copy, it is a copy submitted for assessment, but in this form it allows the students to work on the feedback of this examiner's copy of thesis in the final hardbound copy which they present to the university. The benefits of doing this is the student then has the hardbound copy, which is most of the, if not all of the niggling errors already identified and rectified. So it's something that they can show to the employers, their and all the other people who might be interested in reading the work in the future.
The following piece of assessment that comes from that is that the feedback they've been given on the examiner's copy enables them to identify a key part of their project that they would be satisfied or comfortable with in writing it up into a conference paper format, and there's a specified format identified for that. It's to the standard of an AusIMM conference proceedings paper, and that then gets marked and assessed so that the students have had a different form of writing exposure to.
One of the reasons why we ask the students to do the conference paper is that most of the hard work has already been done. Unlike what would happen out in industry where they'd have to actually do the research and write it up in form of report and then a conference paper, and then they've already done that with the thesis itself. So in some ways the conference paper is a summary of the thesis itself. The hard part will be to distill it down into 3,000 to 5,000 words. The benefit to the student is not only being able to summarise in this form, but it also gets them over the hurdle of producing the first conference paper, because it's always difficult to do that first task, in this case a conference paper. If they've already done it and it's not a large piece of work for them to do, then it makes sense to do it now, and then when they get out as a graduate, the next time round they can feel comfortable, I've already done this in the past, I should be able to do this earlier in my career, and hence push them along, accelerate them in their career development.
The students are also invited then to submit those conference papers for a review panel internally within MEA, and there's an MEA journal selection process of the best conference papers from a review panel, so that they do get an opportunity to see their work published.
This is an initiative that started a few years ago. We've published now 3 volumes of the Journal of Research Projects Review, and in that we have about 50 to 60% pass rate in terms of submissions. We've been publishing about 11 papers now in the journal each year, and really it's a reward to the students, and it's something else they can add to their CV when they're finished. They've not only completed the program, but they've also got their first published first publication, which is always good in terms of their CV.
There's also a competitive part to the MEA Mining Research Project outcome, and that is that from the oral presentations that have been done through the second semester, the best presentations at each university are submitted to, or invited to present at an MEA university, yes, for competing against the other students from the other MEA partners.
Yeah, this is the MEA Student Conference. Again, we've been running them now for 4 or 5 years. The best of the students from each university, and currently there's 5 students, or 5 groups of students from each university asked to represent their university, and we rotate around between the 4 MEA partner universities. In 2014, the conference will be held in Adelaide, and we'll have 20 presentations down there. It gives the students again a chance to have familiarity with what's the requirement for a conference. Again, they've already done the work in terms of thesis, they've already done the work in terms of conference paper, they've already done the work in terms of seminar. So basically, they're dry runs for the presentation at the student conference. We invite also people from industry to as part of the adjudication panel.
So in summary, all the work that is completed as part of this course is done to a very high standard, using the guidelines that are issued to the students, in particular with the written communication. They are meant to adhere strongly to the report writing guide that they've been using for the past 2 years, so that they are very familiar at this stage, or expected to be familiar, and achieving a professional standard that we'd expect of students going out into industry.
There's an important part to play though, we haven't emphasised it so much, where you can contribute to the project. There are the traditional course conveners at each of the universities who play a coordination role, but each academic at the university also plays a role because they're supervising the students. So what you can do in terms of the project is help the students along the path of the research project, providing assistance to the students. So don't underestimate the role that you play, because it is very important in terms of helping the students along this journey. Well, that's about all we have to talk about,
I
Basil.
think that covers the course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope we gave you a reasonable summary of synopsis of the project itself, and good luck with the project in future. Bye.